gang, how are you? Kevin Goatee, gutting the sacred cow. What's going on? Welcome to the newest episode, number 60, where Sara J., the adult film star, tries to smoke out Pineapple Express. But before we get into it, I love talking to you each and every episode, right before the start of each and every episode. Why? Because I get to share awesome news with you. And this week's news, because of you, we got to number 15 last week in iTunes Top 100 for film reviews. 15! That is awesome. Thank you all so very much. All of those 5-star ratings and 2 or 3 sentence reviews, if you have not yet done so, they really do help, as we've just shown you right now. We get bumped up in the algorithm. Thank you so very much for doing that. So, number 15, we couldn't have done it without you, obviously. We appreciate you going on social media and sharing with your friends. Hey, gang, check out this cool podcast. You're damn right, it's a cool podcast. It's hilarious, and this is a great product, and we're so glad you're aboard. And we can't wait to see you all at our live show, January 23rd, 2021, at the Clifton AMC Theater in Clifton, New Jersey, where Bill and Joanne from the morning show on Compound Media are going to try and put Karate Kid in a body bag. That's right. Tickets on sale, guttingthesacredcow.com. Also, don't forget, t-shirts like I'm wearing right now, the projector one, guttingthesacredcow.com, as well as every day, Monday through Friday, has a new article for you. GTSC podcast on Twitter. Follow that as well. All other social medias we're on as well. Why delay the inevitable? Sara J. smoking out Pineapple Express? Yep, believe it.
Gather round, here's what I know. It's just that this cow has got to go. I know some people kinda like it, yeah, it's trending right now. Yeah, that doesn't matter, cause we're gutting the sacred cow.
Nurse, check his penis size. Is it bigger than mine? Kevin Israel, name that film.
No idea.
Hot Shots.
Oh, you know what? I don't think I've ever seen it.
It's not bad. It after a recent rewatch, it's just
That's Charlie Sheen, right?
Yeah, it is. It's the jokes get very lazy, almost as lazy as Top Secret, which is an egregious piece of shit.
Does Hot Shot start with him jumping off a bridge while he's in a Jeep?
I just watched it last week and I fucking forgot. That's how much I hated that film.
Was he a Navy SEAL?
Yeah, no. He was a guitarist in World War II and like trying to infiltrate to East Germany.
Oh, then
it was Val Kilmer.
No.
Our guest today is Sara J. She makes she's has a face of disgust while mentioning Top Secret. I take it you also hate that film, Sara.
Yeah, and I hate those movies where you watch them and you're like, I just finished 2 hours of my life and I cannot even remember what this fucking movie is about.
Boy, oh boy. This sounds like a precursor because tonight Sara has chosen the 2008 film Pineapple Express. But before we get to it, Sara, why don't you tell the good folks watching and listening where we can find you and what you're up to?
Oh, yeah. Check me out. Sara J Links is my link portal, so everything that I have to do with is all there. T-shirts, where you get my new work, everything. I've got social media. Sara J XXX is Twitter, and the_real_Sara_J is
Kevin Israel. She has chosen the film Pineapple Express, which in 2008 had a budget of $27 million, a $104 million haul, which translates to 2020 money, a $35.3 million budget, a haul of $136 million.
I'm surprised it was a $27 million movie.
Yeah. Where did that money go into the budget?
I know exactly where it went.
Weed.
the
Salaries.
Yeah. IMDb, Sara, is a scale that goes 1 through 10. It uses decimal points. Would allow our guest to have the honor. What did Pineapple Express score on the IMDb scale? Excuse me.
I didn't look it up.
That's good because that's our job.
Okay, great. IMDb, I'm going to say it's like 4.7.
Wow. Kevin Israel.
7.
Wow. Almost two showcases on the money, but not. It's 6.9, dude.
Ah, damn.
Of course it is.
Rotten Tomatoes is a 1 through 100 percentage score scale. Critics score, Kevin Israel, Pineapple Express. Give it to me.
56.
How much?
56.
56. Sarah.
68.
69, dude.
Wow.
For the
They
critics.
paid extra for that. They did. They
They
wanted
had to.
Yeah.
Audience score, Kevin Israel. Give that to me.
78.
Sarah.
82.
73.
Wow, that's much lower than I thought it was.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I thought it was much higher than it was going to be. Quotes. You're wearing British Knights. I haven't seen those since 1987. That's all I got quote-wise. Kevin Israel.
I got nothing.
Sarah J. Quotes.
Okay, so at the beginning of the movie, he says something about like all shitty movies are better when you get high.
Right.
So after the third time I watched this movie, I thought maybe I needed to get high and maybe I would get it. But no.
Here we go. 5 fun facts. They had a billboard on Sunset Boulevard where a marijuana leaf emitted smoke, but too many people called the fire department because they thought it was on fire. Red was originally supposed to be killed when shot in the chair, but Seth Rogen said that Danny McBride was so funny, they had to keep bringing him back for more scenes. You gave that look like your parents gave you if you got a C- on a test.
Right. I mean, he should
I'm
have
not mad.
first instinct.
Yeah, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Number 3, reading for, but not getting the role of Ted Jones, drug dealer, because he wasn't scary enough. Bryan Cranston.
What?
Yep.
That's crazy.
Walter fucking White himself.
That's bananas to me.
Yep. Number 4, those cross joints they had in the film. Take a guess who rolled them.
Seth Rogen,
Bingo. Do you know why?
because he's skilled. I don't know.
Him and Evan Goldberg both rolled them because no one on the crew could properly roll a joint.
Yeah, I believe that.
I was looking at those wondering, I just assumed they weren't even actually joints.
Oh, I think quite the opposite. I think they made a film and so they could just get weed paid for by the studios and get high.
Absolutely. And I also think that scene probably started with like, yo, man, look what I can do.
Right.
And then it was like, hey, we should put that into the scene.
It's in the movie. Put it in.
Yeah.
Number 5, Seth Rogen told Howard Stern that he wrote Pineapple Express back in 2001, but it wasn't until his performances in The 40-Year-Old Virgin and Knocked Up helped him get this film greenlit.
It's amazing what star power can do. They'll make anything.
Absolutely. Like, he had to put out the other two, which were like way better, and be like, okay, so now this one, trust me. And they were like, yeah, we got to trust you. You have hits, but.
Do they? Well, Sarah's already getting kind of feisty, so I see no need to keep her waiting to do what she was brought on this earth to do. Yeah. And that is, Kevin Israel, gut the
sacred cow.
It's a fact. I just felt like this movie was so terrible. Like, and I kind of took offense at it too because I smoke weed. Like, I would consider myself a little bit of a stoner. And like, I couldn't tell if this movie was for weed or against weed. You know, like, it all seems like it's for weed until we get to like the end where like his underage girlfriend, which let's just put it that way, it's like little pedophilia thing happening in the movie like nobody wants to talk about. But like his underage girlfriend like chastised him and he's like, you're right, I get too high, I smoke too much weed, it doesn't let me feel anything. So it's like, is this movie like a pro movie or like a against movie, you know? It's very annoying. The other thing, you mentioned it before with the BK and the 87 line. I'm so glad you brought that up. Because like I felt like this movie was shot in the 80s. The film quality looks like it's shot in the 80s. The cars look like they're shot in the 80s. The clothes look like they're shot in the 80s. The toilet seat cover, the little squishy toilet seat cover looks like it's shot in the 80s. But then he makes this joke about 87, which would mean that it wasn't shot in the 80s. I was very confused. That just threw me all the way off. Like, what decade are we in when we're watching this movie?
We had that issue with a recent film that we did too. Oh, it was Napoleon Dynamite. Was it in the 80s? Was it in the 90s? What the fuck are we doing here?
I totally agree. Same thing. Like, that's part of the reason why I don't like that movie either.
Can't say we blame you.
You're in good company.
So far, killing
Right?
it. What else about this film makes your get your tits in a knot?
Like, I feel like every character and every joke is just like one step too far. Like, almost like Three Stooges-ish, you know? Like, there's times where like I'm starting to like relate, and I feel that the funniest things are things that you can like personally relate to. So I'll be like starting to relate, and then they take everything like one or two steps too far, and I'm just like rolling my eyes like, okay, it was funny and now it's not funny. They managed to like unfunny like every joke. That I also felt like they just didn't let the jokes marinate or breathe. It was like constant, like just throwing like things that they were hoping you would laugh at you, and they didn't like let anything like really like marinate with you, you know?
Like it's a goddamn Woody Allen, dinner for four, where everyone just interrupts and talks over each other the entire time.
Yeah, just constantly shooting jokes at you, hoping that you're gonna laugh at something. Like, and it's like you should have just like gone with the good ones and like left out some of the stupid ones. And then we could have like laughed and really enjoyed laughing and maybe remembered why we were laughing. Like so much stupid shit's going on during this movie. It's like so hard to like realize what's happening, to like retain what's happening. You might retain the joke that they just said, but you won't retain like what the scenario is like at all. And every single character in this movie gets on my fucking nerves. Like I don't like anybody in this movie. Like I want to like Seth Rogen, but he's like a pedophile. And like I want to like his stoner dealer, but he's annoying. Like everybody in there gets on my every last nerve. Like I don't like anybody. Not
even Rosie Perez.
I was just gonna say even Rosie Perez, and she's the hot thing. Like no, like I don't like the fact she's a cop and she's just like angry and mean the whole time. Like everybody in there, I didn't enjoy anyone.
Right. Right. What else?
The other thing about creepiness, besides the underage high school girl, like, is the fact that there's like this whole part where they sell weed to children. Yes. like, what? What do we, like, no, don't do that. Not even in a comedy. It's not funny.
They don't just sell it to them. They party with them.
Yeah, that too. Like, no, let's not do this. Come on, Seth Rogen, get it together. Make some ashtrays. Come on.
They did that in Van Wilder. Gave booze to kids, but all right.
Yeah. And all of that. And then at that one point where like, he's like apologizing to his girlfriend over the phone, and she's like chastising him for like always being high, and he was like, "You're right, I'm always high, and I'm never like fully available emotionally." And I'm like, what the fuck is happening in this movie? And so then like you fast forward to like the end after the like explosion and the gunfight and the bombs and all this stuff, right? Which also just seemed out of place. Like this is like a little happy stoner movie, and then all of a sudden it's like explosions. And then at the end of that part, it's like a big bromance. Like it's like the three, like the drug buyer and the drug dealer and the drug supplier are all like bros now. Like, yay, we're bros. So it's like this like bromance movie, but like what's the whole point? Is it like weed is bad? Is it like weed is good? Is it like bros are like bros forever? I don't know. That's kind of the way I feel about it.
It's funny.
So you didn't like the action in it?
No, like there was only like 17 minutes of action, keep it real. I know because I just rewatched it because I was like, did I miss anything in that part?
Nope.
The last like 17 minutes is like the only action.
Oh, you mean you didn't find Leslie Chan from The Hangover endearing in this film as well, Sarah?
No. And then his accent is like offensive. Like, I'm like, you're Asian, dude. You need to do better. Like,
warning.
He was barely in it.
I know.
Was this before he was a thing?
Yes, this
so.
Hangover was 09.
Okay,
This was
so,
like a,
all right.
oh,
So
yeah,
that explains it.
he was on
And
the cusp.
by the way, Kev,
Yeah,
he was also in Endgame.
Right.
was he?
Like,
He was
like
the security guard.
Oh, that's
He's
right.
gotta be a
Oh,
friend.
at the fucking with
And he doesn't
Ant-Man,
have a
that's right.
single line.
Thank
Why
God.
put him in if you're not going to have him say something stupid? Like that. Anyway,
I wish they would have done the same for his stand-up special. Not a single
Oh,
line.
don't even.
Oh no! Does he have a stand-up special?
Let me just
Well,
tell you
it's not
this, Sarah
special.
J. Yeah, exactly. Sarah, let me just tell you this. I couldn't have put it any better. Caroline Ray, they did the roast last year for who was it? Alec Baldwin. And they said, Caroline Ray's up, and she goes, there's Ken Jeong from The Hangover. Ken Jeong did a stand-up special for Netflix. Ken, answer this. I didn't know they started filming open mic specials and putting them on Netflix. Hilarious. Because it was terrible. It was not good. What anything else, Sarah, about this film? Why you hate it? What else do you hate it?
I pretty much ripped it apart. Like I can't think of any reason that I like it, to be honest with you, except for the fact that I am a marijuana advocate and I would like to promote like marijuana movies, but I just can't do this one. Fuck this movie.
I had no idea, despite all of your plants behind you showing me the quite the opposite.
Yeah. No, I have a CBD line and I've always been, forward with the culture. But yeah, when I watched this movie, I was like embarrassed. I was like, oh, don't show stoners like this.
Yeah, go back to making it illegal. Fuck these guys.
It was much more cool when nobody else did it.
Yeah. Now we're just smoking weed openly on the streets in Manhattan. You're like, ugh, can't you at least pretend to kind of cover up when you see whatever. All right. Kevin, I'm going to go first this time.
I want you to go first.
I'm glad you do. I've gotten to the point now where seeing Seth Rogen's face gives me the same reaction as I do being invited to a gender reveal party. And I always say no to gender reveal parties. Fuck you people who try and have a party for your kid. You can hit a golf ball that's blue or pink. Eat my shit. I have better things to do than waste time with that. Just tell me what it is.
You're not getting more gifts out of me.
Thank you. Minute 15. Where are the jokes? Minute 27. Not even a smirk. Minute 33. Where are the jokes? By the way, did Seth Rogen offer McLovin as a virgin to a pagan cult to get the Green Hornet greenlit?
It's so funny. I was thinking about that as I was watching this movie. Like, how the fuck did he pull off Green Hornet? And I never even saw it.
He must have copious amounts of them.
Did you see it, Kev?
No, of course. Are you kidding me? No.
I saw it.
How bad was it, Sarah?
It was
bad.
entertaining and bad. It was bad, but like entertainingly bad. Like you're entertained at how bad it is.
I absolutely loathe puns about, especially ones dealing with getting high. I would rather watch Sophie's Choice in 3D than hear those shitty puns. Dan McBride looks like the lead technician at your local Pep Boys. This movie, thank you, Kevin. This movie must be only appreciated by those who spend Thanksgiving night lined up outside of Walmart for Black Friday deals. Did that hit home for you, Sarah J? Are you a big TV?
No, I hate Walmart. I hate the place, and I just had like a vision of a bunch of McBrides at the Walmart.
49 minutes in, first laugh, and that was the British Knights reference I made before. Minute 65, I'm yelling at my TV, where are the fucking jokes? At what point does James Franco say to himself during filming, hey, at least this isn't Spider-Man 3? Craig Robinson is the Black Rob Riggle. Same exact role that no one ever laughs at in every single film he is in. Minute 66.
I liked him in The Office.
And
Good.
I like Hot Tub Time Machine.
I saw it. I thought it was okay. I never saw The Office, by the way. I'm one of the very few people who have not seen it. And Hot Tub Time Machine, I remember liking it, but the second one was a piece of shit.
No, we don't even acknowledge the second one. Like, it does not exist.
Yeah.
Minute 66. I realize I've laughed as much watching this film as I do every year opening my first credit card statement after the Christmas holidays.
Oh, groan after groan.
I saw Seth Rogen answering a troll online by saying, dude, you don't deserve my movies. Seth, no one that operates under the Geneva Convention should be subjected by these films. Rosie Perez makes Cardi B sound like Helen Mirren. You?
That was a good one.
Thank
That was
you.
good, Kev.
Thank you. Seth Rogen's face looks like Tara Patrick's pussy after a 500-man gangbang.
Jesus.
I wrote that in honor of our guest. Thank you.
Oh, that's nice.
So in summation, I love this film. I'm fucking kidding me. I hate this film. I hate this film as much as I
Oh,
hate
you did it again.
I know. I love to do the old Texas switch. I hate this film as much as I hate people who go 50 miles an hour in the fast lane. I hate this film as much as I hate my flight being delayed by 4 hours on the way to a vacation. I hate this film as much as I hate paying taxes. I hate this film as much as I hate people who say thoughts and prayers on social media after tragedies, but never lift a finger to help the cause. Seth Rogen, he made a fortune making films, and he made it. There's no denying he made it. He's won the battles and the wars many times over than yours truly. And look, comedy's subjective. I get it. We're all wired differently. I'm right, and a lot of you are wrong, but we know that. But any of you listeners that truly enjoy this film and find it funny, I dare you. Come on our social media and explain why this is funny. I laid the same challenge out there to Napoleon Dynamite. Because, listen, I will find Al Capone's fucking vault before I find this film funny. 1 out of 10. This is an absolute blue whale abortion piece of shit.
Wow.
And Kevin Israel, before we get to you, don't forget, you can always go to guttingthesacredcow.com to get a cool shirt like I'm wearing right now. You know it. GuttingTheSacredCow.com every day has articles, but more importantly, the links to buy tickets for our live show, January 23rd. If you're in the New York City area, tri-state area, Clifton AMC Movie Theater, where you'll see Bill and Joanne from the morning show on Compound Media try and take down the 1984 classic Karate Kid. Kevin Israel, the floor is yours.
I'd like to preface this by saying I've never smoked weed in my life. I fully advocate, just so Sarah J doesn't jump down my throat, I fully advocate legalizing marijuana. I want everybody who wants to smoke it to smoke it. I fully support the industry. I've just never smoked marijuana. So in anything that involves a lot of weed jokes, I always feel left out because I just never been there. I saw this movie in the theater, and I remember feeling like I think it's supposed to be funny, but it wasn't meant for me. It's almost like watching a foreign film that you know is probably good, but you don't understand what they're saying.
Even if you speak the language, it still sucked.
Well, and that makes me feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
So I saw it in the theater. I never saw it again. And so watching it yesterday was the first time I saw it again. You know, I took notes. I mean, I can go through like. Oh, Seth Rogen makes some point. Says if pot isn't legal within 5 years, you know, plus something. When he's on the radio. Well, he's off by 7 years in New Jersey anyway. Right. Like he was just a little behind the times. He did make being a process server seem fun. I never thought that. I'm also a lawyer, and we in law school you learn a lot about process serving and making sure people receive their documents correctly. It sounds absolutely boring. He actually made it seem kind of fun. So I guess good for this movie. The dating the high school girl thing. Now this was in 2008. 12 years later, I think we're a little more aware of a society and maybe also a little more sensitive. But it seemed really creepy to see a guy who looks like Seth Rogen, who I'd imagine was probably in his late 20s at that point, but looked like he was in his mid-40s, kissing a girl in the middle of high school. Like, it just seemed super creepy. And by the way, that was Amber Heard, who now, like, back then she was like, it was like this cute, pretty girl. Now, like, with the whole Johnny Depp thing, we know that she, between the two of them, there's a lot of batshit crazy going on there. And so seeing her as this innocent high school girl and knowing what it was going to end up being, I thought that was funny. But just watch the whole high school, and then when it was minorly funny when he started yelling at the teacher, who I can't remember that guy's name.
Joe
He's always
Trujillo. That guy's face annoys me very much.
I think it's supposed to. I feel like he's supposed to be that guy. That was kind of funny, like, because we've all always wanted to be able to go to school and tell the teacher to fuck off. That's like he got that moment. But that one scene definitely didn't carry this movie. Just the process of buying weed illegally makes me never want to smoke weed. Like, and I know I have tons of friends who smoke weed, and I got to tell you, I want weed to be legal so badly, so my friends don't have to sound like they're convicts anymore, because they all have these drug dealers who have one name, who live in some shady place, and they have to have some secret handshake to get it, and they're like accountants, and it's like, what the fuck are you doing with your life? They need to legalize this stuff and make it legit. But watching him go into that guy's into the apartment and have to sit with the guy and talk to him and be I was like, that alone, I'm way too lazy for anything for that. Like, I would pass up on most things if that was the process that it took to get it.
I literally thought that was the funniest part of the movie, because there is that awkward exchange where you're like, okay, I've purchased my stuff, I would like to leave now. He's like, no, stay, and you're like, I don't even know you though.
Yeah, I don't go to Burger King and buy a hamburger and then hang out with the fry guy. Like, I'm in and out. Seeing Lumbergh from The Office Space try to be a badass just didn't sit right with me. Like, I can't ever buy, and it blows my mind that what's his name actually auditioned for the part. Yeah, like. Anybody, I see Lumbergh anytime I see him in anything, and I think he was in a TV show where he was a cop and also supposed to be a badass. But I just always hear him going,
"What's happening?"
Yep, about your TPS reports.
He was also he was also an agent on Entourage and a bit of a pussy too, if you remember that.
Oh, was he? I don't remember that. Yeah,
he was Piven's buddy.
I think actually more often than not, he probably plays different types of characters than what Lumbergh was. Right. But he will always be Lumbergh to me, so he'll just never be able to shed that mantle. I can't. The whole movie, all three main characters looked like they were dirty and smelly the entire time. Like, I just wanted them to stop and take a shower. Like, at some point I wanted to, and I can't stand, and I know it was part of the joke, I can't stand it when men wear suits that clearly, like, they just bought from a secondhand store and didn't get tailored or anything. Right. And him walking around in that shitty fitting suit with sneakers on, it's like, you wouldn't be dressed like that. Like, you wouldn't, I get that it's funny and it makes you look more dumpy and that's the character you're supposed to be, but you would never be dressed like that. And then, so this movie, it started off as this kind of goofy, irreverent pot movie, and then it went into this weird action movie, and neither worked, and this is the Big Bang Theory of pot movies.
Oh, I couldn't have said it better.
It's not jokes. It's just silly things happen, and you're supposed to guffaw at it. And I have to tell you, this is the worst indictment I can give of this movie. I watched this yesterday, and I watched Avengers Endgame today, and I laughed more at Avengers Endgame than I did at Pineapple Express, which is supposed to be a comedy. Yeah, Avengers Endgame had more funny lines in it than Pineapple Express did. So this movie is not for me, and I would be more than willing to walk away from it and say, listen, I'm not a weed guy. I guess this movie just wasn't for me. But I've now listened to somebody who is in the marijuana culture say it's terrible. I feel vindicated that I'm just not a stiff left out. It's bad. This is a bad movie. I don't think I'll give it a 1, but I would give it a 2.5.
So high.
I don't know. I just feel like I wasn't completely repulsed by it, but it didn't achieve any of its things. And I'm also, by the way, I'm also not a Danny McBride guy.
Me neither. Do not get it.
When Eastbound and Down came out and everybody was like, you gotta watch this, I was like, I've hated him in everything he's ever been in. And
no mullets for me.
What's that?
No mullets for me.
Yeah. I don't get him.
You're from Ohio. You should be used to that, Sarah.
He was not bad in Tropic Thunder, but then he was really playing a very specific character, which was sort of him just amped up. But I'm not a Danny McBride guy, so I just don't buy into him. The fact that he got shot in the gut and he got shot like 7 times and didn't die, which is ridiculous. This wasn't a cartoon movie. Kevin and I have talked about like trying to figure out where in reality a movie lies. Like, is this a movie taking place in the real world where you have to apply real standards, or is this a complete fantasy nonsense movie where you're basically living like a Bugs Bunny character? And I guess this movie went more that way, but it never felt like it was supposed to. So the whole movie was just a mess. And yeah, it's a 2.5 for me.
I was going to say that's a perfect moment of that doesn't happen.
Yes. Yes. 100%.
Oh, and if your argument's going to be for us, well, you need to be high to watch it, then it's not fucking funny. If I need to be in an altered state to appreciate something, I'm sorry, I can't stand the Grateful Dead nor Pink Floyd. We have to be high. Then you know what? Not having it, kids.
You know what? I was high to watch it, and it still wasn't funny.
Bingo.
There you go.
I thought maybe this might make it better. He could have. Maybe he's telling us something. Because like right at the beginning of the movie, when he's on the radio, he does say something about like all shitty movies are better when you're stoned. Weed makes everything better. And I was like, maybe that's the key. So I stopped. I put it on pause, and I got high, and I turned it back on, and it was just as bad. Maybe not even worse. Because now I can't even like keep up with the like silliness. Like, it was terrible.
We appreciate you going to those lengths and running a chemical experiment for this movie. That's really above and beyond.
You know, like I have so many friends that love this movie. And every time I mention it in the...
Are they mildly retarded?
You know, no, but they're all stoners, right? So I'm like, okay, maybe I'm just not doing it right. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I saw it at a bad moment in my life. And so I rewatched it. And then I rewatched it high. And I was like, nope, still hate it.
I think I laughed harder at Reefer Madness than this horse shit. I gotta say, I guess it's just Seth Rogen and his nonstop, hey, I'm just an awkward Jew, and that's every fucking role for him. This one was not that one, but if it's not the awkward Jew, it's I'm a stoner. I love 40-Year-Old Virgin. Knocked Up, it was all right. I get why people love it. I'm not gonna shit on it.
Yeah.
Superbad, same thing. I'm fine with it. I get why people like it. Not going to shit on it. But you try and find me one after that, and I will snipe you right the fuck out. I am not having that discussion. It's been a death knell for his film since. But good again, he is doing it. I am doing a fucking podcast on a Monday night with my friend. You tell me who's won. Kevin, you said 2.5. I gave it a 1. Sarah, give me a score for this film. What did you think?
I'm going to go with a 2.
All right. Split the baby. Close enough. Critics 5-star reviews.
5-star reviews. 5-star reviews by Chris.
There were any?
Yeah. Highly recommended.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. This is possibly the first time a blackened, burnt corpse is played for laughs. It all flows by like so much sugar water. I don't know what that means. Okay.
I don't know either.
Cheech and Chong have found new heirs apparent in the form of Saul and Dale in a film destined to be a new stoner classic. By the way, I just watched my first Cheech and Chong film. I take that back. I watched 45 minutes of my first Cheech and Chong film. It's horrible. Next movie, no thanks. I'm not buying it. Given that Pineapple Express is undoubtedly a lot funnier if you're as high as the heroes when you watch it, its future cult status is assured. Okay. Enjoyable, but probably only as funny as you think it is if you're as high as Judd Apatow's salary. Critics 1-star reviews. Your love of it will largely depend on how funny you find a movie with 85% of the jokes based on smoking weed. For the rest of you, a lot of it is going to feel very silly, crammed with potty humor, and overlong for such a simple subject matter. Pineapple Express is good for a few laughs, but little more. It's low-grade Apatow. I think they used to call it dirtweed. The first half hour floats by on a cloud of mildly funny lines. Couscous, the food's so nice, they named it twice. But then slumps, puns. But then slumps into a derivative action caper that's really an unappealingly reminiscent of 80s dross like Beverly Hills Cop.
Beverly Hills Cop was way better than this.
Beverly Hills Cop is still fucking hilarious and great.
Way
And,
better.
it's one of.
Like,
This
how
person-
can you compare the two? Like,
Can I tell you another stupid problem that I had with this movie? And this is way more analysis than this movie deserves.
Sure.
It bothered me that Seth Rogen and
Evan Goldberg. Franco.
Franco's character didn't know each other really before. Like he just bought weed from him a few times, and suddenly they just became best friends. Like, I don't know why it couldn't have started out with them being friends. Like, I mean, there was so much in this movie that I didn't buy into, but just that they like suddenly developed this great friendship seemed ridiculous to me. After that, like I was a drug dealer and you came to my house and were like, I just saw a murder, I'd be like, get the fuck out of my house.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Get a lawyer.
Yeah.
Like, I literally think that may have been the purpose of the movie. Like, I really sat there and was like, what is the purpose of this movie? And I think it's to show the bromance. Like, watch this, like, friendship develop from, like, a supplier, retailer kind of situation to, like, this is my bud.
Yep.
Yeah.
Watching this without having got stoned first is like watching a 3D movie without the special glasses. The problem about being hopelessly stoned is that you also become hopelessly boring. So here it is. Amazon 5-star reviews. 6 stars. There's been many doper films, but this icon is the most deserving of the last decade. Don't bother me with how this or that was anything but professional or well acted, because I'm not listening. La 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 la. I've seen it many times and yet I purchased it. That's the truest review. The film's impact for me was, of course, seriously muted by my own memory providing spoiler after spoiler. That's huge. But the movie still had enough left to grab me and take my mind over for a while.
So Seth Rogen wrote that review, yeah?
I was just going to say.
Whereas like Ant.
If you've never seen this, probably you've avoided it, so no sell job on you from my side. But as a first-time viewing, film experiences go, this one's hard to beat. Was this written by a guy while waiting for a city bus because he's had his license 3 times suspended? Better than The Godfather. Best. This is the best movie ever made. A law should be passed requiring all students to watch it K through 12 every year before they're allowed to advance to the next grade. And it should be required watching for 600 points on the SATs. It should also be required by law to be watched by all citizens and tests given to make sure they paid close attention with a fill-in-the-blank test that has at least 300 questions with a passing score of at least 290 correct. Signed, someone who says use, and it is what it is.
Jesus.
Terrible.
There aren't enough marijuana comedy films. Cheech and Chong, Half Baked, what else? I don't smoke anymore.
Confused?
Like what?
Dazed and Confused.
Yeah, that's a
That's
fucking
a
huge
great
one.
weed movie.
That's a great movie.
Yeah. But like The Grateful Dead, you don't have to be high to enjoy it. Wrong. I can't even fathom writing a review about this movie because I feel like everyone that hadn't heard of it and wants to see it would have it by now. If you are thinking about it, do it. More of an appeal for men, but I am a woman, and this ranks on my favorite movie list. I will update when I get through the extra material.
These reviews are just as terrible as the fucking movie.
TBD, can't wait to give my director's commentary. Amazon 1-star reviews. Unbelievable characters, bad acting, uninteresting subplot, another stupid dope movie that assumes dopers are stupid. Dopers. Is this my 80, 90-year-old grandmother? Those dopers again. Putting their oregano in my mailbox. Seth Rogen is his usual annoying self. James Franco is actually good. I've made 3 passes at this movie. Well, no means no, dude. Take a hint.
What?
I love smoking weed. I don't love this movie. It's a lot of dudes yelling at each other and then taking it back going, I love you, man. Interveiled by senseless, non-believable violence. a murderous, bangy slapstick. Signed, Kevin Smith.
First of all, I want to know what the subplot was because I don't think there was one. Second of all, that guy gave this movie so much more attention than it warranted. like we have given this movie more attention than it warrants.
Thanks, Sarah. Next one. I'm gonna go backwards. Bad is too good of a review. No acting, no plot, and no reason to actually view the film. It is not even mindless entertainment. In fact, there is no entertainment whatsoever. Pick another movie. Even the notoriously maligned Biodome is better than this. I would call this detritus drivel, but that would unnecessarily insult both garbage and witlessly blathering. Can you imagine this guy or girl writing a review like, Mom, Dad, where did you put the thesaurus? I'm writing another Amazon review. But I don't want to get out of the house and find a job. Someone will find my reviews insightful and hire me as a movie critic. Next one. Not unrated version. Same video that's leaving Prime tomorrow. 9/1/2020. You will be receiving a call from me about a refund, Amazon. Seth Rogen makes me homesick. Thank you. Seth Rogen. I like this too. Seth Rogen makes me homesick.
Yeah.
We get to know. I know what his home life is like.
I do. Where does this scholarly scribe hail from? What? Next one. Juvenile humor. I'm not a fan of Seth Rogen's to start with. If I did not have to view it for a class, I would have passed on this movie. After viewing it, it was predictably as asinine as I had feared. And I say, here's why the public school system is a complete failure. At least the hungover 10th grade history teacher could have chosen a better film like Biodome so that he could sleep through his hangover while the kids could watch this piece of shit. And now my favorite one-star review. Ordered this movie for my daughter to give to her boyfriend for Christmas, which she did. Mission accomplished. Apparently, when he opened it, there was no DVD. He said it was sealed as if it came from the factory. Still no DVD. However, he didn't have the nerve to tell us, so our daughter did just this past weekend. We don't know what else to do since I deleted my purchase history. Sorry, there was no DVD in the package. First of all, look at Mom, the big spender, buying a DVD for the boyfriend. And it sounds like this pussy does not have the fortitude to become her son-in-law. I mean, if he can't tell her the DVD was not in the case, how can he tell her that he'd rather order in Little Caesars than go to her house for Thanksgiving dinner? Or take a croquet mallet to your own nuts than go on vacation with them to an all-inclusive spot in the Bahamas? Or tell the mother that her daughter gives a lazy, uninspiring BJ? Or is that just me talking about my girlfriend, ex-girlfriend from the year 2000 to 2001? I don't know. Kevin Israel, did Sarah J. gut the sacred cow?
Yeah, she did. But you know what? I have to say, I don't know how sacred this cow was. I'd say if there was a field of sacred cows, this was the cow like off in the corner that nobody wanted to milk, and it was kind of limping, and it only has one antler or horn or whatever they're called. And she came along, saw it, and just like flicked a knife across its throat and walked away from it. Like there wasn't a lot involved in this gutting, but you gut it.
Honestly, I just get frustrated because a lot of my friends who do smoke weed, I think they get the movie mixed up with the strain of weed. Because the strain of weed, Pineapple Express, is delicious, but the movie sucks.
There actually is a Pineapple Express weed?
Sure.
Was that a resultant from this movie, or did it exist before?
Good question. I don't know about that. I'm not totally sure. It seems like they came out around the same time. Who knows what came first, the chicken or the egg? But like, this
are
movie
existential about this fucking film. I agree. Sarah, this cow had AIDS, and all you did was just flick a lit cigarette near it, and then coughed in its general direction, and then it keeled over from massive coronary or some kind of other acquired, immunodisease. This film stinks. people who defend it are dumb, and there is no gray area with this film.
Nonetheless, you got it.
Yes, you did. So hang that next to any of your AVNs if you have any.
Yes, I do. I got a little trophy shelf.
Nice.
Right now, put this next to the double anal award you have, because that's the gift that keeps on giving. Sara J., where can the good folks find you yet again?
Make sure you check me out, sarahjlinks.com, on social media. I'm on Twitter and Instagram. Twitter, SarahJXXX. Instagram, _real_Sarah_J.
How pissed would you have been if someone actually did take Sara J XXX? Would you have settled for a double X or had to move to a quadruple X?
You know, I probably would have ditched the X's and gone with like, I am Sara J, or I am the real Sara J, or the _.
Hey, the real. You know what? The real is good enough for a president. It should be good enough for you.
Hilarious. Kevin Israel, yourself?
KevinIsrael.com. My album, The Struggle Is Real, on iTunes and everywhere else.
KevinGoatee.com. But more importantly, GuttingTheSacredCow.com, because you can get tickets to our live show January 23rd at the AMC in Clifton, New Jersey. If you're in the tri-state New York City area, that's only 25 minutes outside the city. Come see us. Come see Bill and Joanne from the morning show on Compound Media. Try and take down the Karate Kid GTSC podcast. And if you haven't done so, for the love of Christ, write us a review. iTunes, I don't know, Google, Spotify, 5-star rating, 3-sentence review. That does a nice little solid for us. We appreciate that. We also appreciate you, Sara J, for coming on and making us waste an hour and 50 minutes of watching Pineapple Express. I'd rather stick a pineapple in my urethra than watch that again. Yuck.
Yeah. No, I had to watch it too, so I feel your pain. Like, I haven't seen it since it came out, and I was like, why do I hate this so much? I need to verify it, and it still sucks.
Yeah. Oh, it's terrible. Sara, you're a delight. Thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it. Everyone, thanks again. Gutting the Sacred Cow. We'll see you next time. Take care.
Thanks.